There's been a lot of information, and some might even say misinformation, that has been all over social media and the news recently about cruise gratuities. Now, it can be hard to know what the truth really is, and what I learned from a crew member made me rethink everything that I have been hearing lately. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm on board a cruise right now, and I really wanted to share this information with you while it's pretty fresh in my mind. So it is going to be kind of a chatty video. And I really did want to talk about some of the latest information that we've heard from Carnival Ambassador John Heald, what we've also learned about the transparency for cruise gratuities, and how does it really affect or not affect the crew on board. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. All right, for anybody who's new to this topic, so for instance, if you're a new cruiser, when you go on a cruise, most major cruise lines are going to charge automatic daily gratuities. Now, people can prepay these before their cruise, or they can pay them and it will be automatically added to your bill at the end of your cruise when you're on board. And these gratuities are supposed to go to the crew on board that serve you. So think about the cabin attendants or the waiters and waitresses and the different people who work in the buffet, etc. And as well, most cruise lines also point out that some of these gratuities will be given to people behind the scenes that you may not interact with daily, but that do contribute to your time and vacation on board. Now, over the last few months to a year, there has been an increase in, I'm just going to call them rumors, because really nothing has been confirmed, but different people sharing that crew members are actually not getting these gratuities. Maybe they're kept by the cruise line, or in some cases that the cruise line is giving it to the crew, but it's actually part of their entire salary, so it doesn't really make a difference. Now, this has led some people to actually remove their gratuities. So I'm not talking about any other reason for removing gratuities, but in this case. And my concern has always been, does this affect the crew? Because in the past, I definitely had heard it does. And I've even had some crew members who have written to me to say that they are aware when people remove the gratuities, and it actually does really impact their income and their lives. Now, this has led me to want to know a little bit more about how things are working now. Now, I am going to share with you what I have learned from crew members on board. But first, I did want to share with you something that John Heald, Carnival Ambassador, had clarified. And something that I do want to mention right off the bat is that every cruise line might even be doing things differently. So I'm only commenting on what I know and what has been publicly said in the case of Carnival Ambassador John Heald. Now, when people have been asking for transparency, recently he shared on his page that 100% of the automatic gratuities go to the crew members. It is not part of the salary that they're receiving from Carnival, that it is in addition to. Now, there were several people who commented that this was vague and maybe he was skirting around the facts, and he continued to answer and be more clear that yes, the entirety of those gratuities are kept by the crew members, and they're in no way kept by Carnival. Now, in my opinion, this is pretty clear, but I know that a lot of people want a little bit more detail. Now, switching gears, let's talk about what I found out. And this is a different cruise line, by the way. It's the cruise that I am on board now. And truthfully, what I did learn made me feel quite bad about some of the things that have been said and have been going on over the last few months. Now, I can tell you what some crew members have actually shared with me. So what they have told me is that they are getting a salary from the cruise line, and the gratuities are given to them once a month. So they're actually able to see those pooled gratuities, and that amount does go up or down based on what total amount of gratuities they get. So they said they definitely can see when people have removed the gratuities, the pooled amount that they are going to get is less. And when I say the pooled amount, keep in mind, this is their income. The tips are their income. So when people are removing gratuities, it does stand to reason that this does affect the salary or the income. I guess that's a better word, the income of the crew member. And something to keep in mind is we may disagree with a system. We may wish things were different. And honestly, I'm not the accountant for any cruise line. But in the end, what I do know is if it affects the crew members, and those are the people that are serving me dinner, serving me breakfast, cleaning my cabin, and truthfully making this a vacation and a way of travel that I come back to again and again, I do not want to see them negatively affected. Now, what about if you want to give anybody extra tips? What happens then? Well, my understanding is they're actually able to keep that. So I think if you do want to give your cabin attendant a little something extra, especially if you are asking for things that are maybe, let's just call it going above and beyond the basics, then that's definitely something nice. And obviously, this is not something obligatory. Now, I really wanted to share this information and have this discussion because I do think that there's a lot of information out there and we really don't know what's true and what's not true. And I'm not saying that when people are having interactions with crew members who are telling them, remove your tips and give the cash all to me, that crew member is not telling the truth. But, you know, keeping in mind that they may have their own reason. Maybe if you remove all of the gratuities and you give it to one person, that is personally more beneficial to them, but it may not be what's beneficial to all of the different people who have helped you on a cruise. Anyway, people will make their own choices, but I did want to share this with you in light of there being so much information out there. Now, I've asked the question before if people think that the gratuities should simply be built into the fare. Now, given the fact that Virgin Voyages recently took it out of the included fare and made it a separate line item, I think that this is something that's probably not going to happen. And I think unless all of the cruise lines did it across the board, I don't think any one cruise line wants their fares to look higher than the other. And of course, there are always going to be some people who don't want to pay gratuities at all. Either way, I'm very interested in your thoughts. As always, please keep it kind and respectful, but leave your comment below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now and happy cruising.